This is the first time I've come to record one of these and not really had an idea beforehand about what I was going to record. And that made me think that actually perhaps some reflection on where I'm at and why that might be is useful in itself. There are two things that I think are coming together. One of them is something I've discussed before, which is about how life goes through these phases where you're trying to think about all the different factors, about making sure everyone's all right and all that kind of stuff, but importantly, making sure you've got the money for your family. And I've taken up some work as a locum in a hospital, which is quite a drive away for me. It's only a couple of days a week, but it's meant that the time available, but also the energy available, hasn't quite been there for me in the same way. And yet again, it's another thing that's come in that I can't not do, but has an impact then on the training I can do. I've stopped doing my Monday night football for now. When you're trying to do two things, I'm trying to keep going with my running and I'm trying to keep improving on my swimming, you are going to struggle. I've struggled to get the time, to get the routine together. But it's also been, I think there's a reflection here about how far out I am from the long-term goal. I set off on this project last September when I was 3 years away from the Ironman in September 2028. And I was also a long way, an infinitely long way, it felt like, from actually doing what I need to do, being able to swim, start off with that 2.4 mile swim. And so I guess there was sort of an urgency to it that meant that I did actually do the lessons. I actually got myself going with it and everything. Now, I'm still a long, long way from what I need to do with those 2.4 miles. But there was something weird whereby I've started to feel like I can actually believe it happening because of the fact that I kind of locked into this idea of step by step doing more distance, realizing that it's probably as much my head or more my head than it is my technique. And I kind of believe that. But then because I'm now 2 and a bit years away, it's weird because it's almost like I feel slightly less urgency than I did in September last when I was 3 years away. And that combination of having slightly less urgency because of the time combined with how busy life just seems to be. 2 cars breaking down on one day whilst England were playing, funnily enough. I'm not sure what kind of metaphor that is. It kind of feels like I'm sort of a little bit, I'm kind of coasting, but I'm not worried about that at the moment, if I'm honest, because of the time away, the distance it is away. I know that what will happen is that I will have a sudden impetus and then things will kick in. And I think I've got to just let myself follow a little bit more of that because otherwise I could get very despondent about not doing training. And there's no point. It'll be fine. So yeah, it's no great insights this week, but that's where I'm at.
If you like that video and want to hear more about my story over the coming years, please make sure that you hit subscribe on the channel so that the videos will always appear in your feed.